Here we go. Beautiful. Left side clear, right side clear, firing line clear. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third episode of Ask the Insurance Guy Online. I am joined today by my superstar, comedic friend, and morning radio host, Mr. Matt Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wait a second. Wait. Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
My name's Matt Mitchell, Casio Kid. If you're in the Tennessee Valley, I'm on Rocket 95.1. Yeah.
Hold on. We're going to bring him in. He always has to make a guest appearance. I almost forgot him today. Sorry.
Nationwide is on your side.
Chicken parm, it tastes so good. Guys, I am excited to have you with us today. First of all, I have so much respect for you. And let me tell you what I have promised myself today.
What?
Let me tell you what I promised myself. I know that through the course of your entertainment career and all the things you've done, so many people have asked you the exact same questions about the Tonight Show and Jay Leno and all this other stuff. I promised myself today that I was going to ask different questions. Questions.
What if there's somebody watching that doesn't know?
And we may get to that. So here's where I want to start. Right. So you grew up, if I'm not mistaken, in Gadsden, is that correct?
Yes, Gadsden, Alabama.
Gadsden High School. Where'd you go?
I went to Emma Sansom High School.
Okay. When did you know, what is the moment in your life, the seminal moment that you knew that you wanted to be in comedy?
Well, my mom has a great story about, I was super young and I told her I wanted to be a brain doctor or a comedian.
Okay.
And she said that she prayed for the next 25 years I would choose brain doctor. I did not.
And it went the other way.
I distinctly remember in...
How old do you think you were when she asked that?
Well, it had to be kindergarten or first, because I remember I was pushing... It was either kindergarten or first grade. I'm on the playground. I'm pushing a bunch of girls on the merry-go-round. And I trip, and my feet come out from under me.
Okay.
But I hold on to the merry-go-round, so it's dragging me in a circle. And I was panicked. But I get my feet back under me, and the girls laughed and went, "Do it again." And I went, "That's how I'm in." That's how I'm in.
And you distinctly remember that?
Distinctly remember that.
Wow.
I was like, making the girls laugh is a win. Now,
so
I should tell you, I'm not married yet, but
well,
it's coming.
But still, that was when y'all excuse me for just a second.
Did you just put your butt in your face?
I did. Yeah,
All over Facebook.
I'm sorry. That's okay. Facebook's okay. Y'all are okay with that. So did you grow up being, when you were in school, the class clown?
Yes.
Okay. So I was too.
I didn't get officially voted that until in high school. So
yeah.
I got sloppy in sophomore. I got most school spirit in my senior year, class clown junior year.
My mother will tell you that I think some of the worst moments she had when I was in high school where people would come up to her, and they'd be like, "Your son is so funny, he keeps us," and to her, that wasn't a good thing.
It's never good to the parents.
My kid is obviously not doing very well in school, first of all, so there's that, and then he's a class clown. He's always making.
But you passed. Look, you got a real job.
It worked out in the end.
I did not, but
well, but I think. But here's the thing. Here's why I have so much respect for you. Anybody watching this right now, there's a book that I want all of you to read. It's called The Art of War. And you've heard me talk about this on Snapchat. The Resistance. And let me tell you what you did. Somewhere in your life, okay, from the time you were a class clown in high school, you did something that millions of people cannot do. Because let me tell you something, there are millions of people, myself included, that would love to be a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
But have never jumped off that high dive, okay, and gone to an open mic night or whatever. So there's my next question. There's the resistance. Everything is telling you not to do it. What made you the first time get up on stage and actually do this?
I had a comedian, Mickey Dean.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody's heard of him, but
I have heard of Mickey Dean.
Mickey Dean.
I've met him actually at Smith Lake.
Great guy, and he came. I used to work in. Well, I still do work in radio, but when he met me working in radio, and he said, "Have you ever thought about doing stand up?" And I said, "Well, sure, but you know,
Right.
you never think you're funny enough to do
Right.
stand up." And he said, "Cool. What are you doing Friday night?" And I said, "Nothing." I thought he was performing and he wanted me to come see him.
Right.
And he said, "Well, I signed you up for open mic night. You got 7 minutes."
Is that what your mouth did?
That was like, yeah, that was a Monday, and I had till Friday.
Did you say, are you serious?
I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I signed you up." I said, "Well, I can't go." And he goes, "Well, you're signed up. They're expecting you, and you got 7 minutes." So for 4 days, I just was like, "What am I going to talk about?"
Were you just for 4 days? Did you?
Well, then I went through a roller coaster. There was panic, and then there was cockiness. I've got this. What are you talking about? And if he's signing me up, I'm clearly the next big thing.
Are you trying? Are you trying to come up with material for that 4 days, or are you just going to let it go? Like, are you just going to walk in?
Both. I was trying to plan it out, but I'm not a writer. I'm not a good writer at all. So I just kind of improv whatever I can, especially nowadays since I'm more comfortable. I'll just improv most of it. But I don't even really know. I told a couple stories. Like everybody has got stories.
Right.
I got a funny story.
Right.
So if I'm at a party and somebody needs a funny story, everybody's got their stories that they fall back on.
Exactly.
So, and especially at that point coming from radio, that was how I got on air, was I got something funny that happened. So I just winged it. I thought I crushed it. And then I listened to it about 8 years later, and it was the worst night of my life, and I didn't know it.
But somebody after that show, and it may have been Mickey Dean, said, "Hey man, you can do this. You can do this."
It was Bruce Ayers at the start on. He said, "If you'll listen to me, I'll help you. You've already got a small following from radio. Like, there's things here in place if I can just kind of guide you through the deal." And he did, and he's been a great mentor. But I mean, it takes. I tell everybody, people's like, "What should I do, man? I want to do comedy." I'm like, just get on stage.
Do it. Just do it.
Even if you bomb, the best thing you learn from is
resistance.
Get on stage.
Resistance. There are those same people that they want to do it so bad.
Yeah.
But there's just that,
well, I mean,
they can't do it.
When you start, and now if I ever go to an amateur night or whatever, you see guys, I really don't pay attention to whether their jokes worked or not.
Right.
I pay attention to whether they look comfortable, and then I tell them the best thing you can do is get right back up again as soon as you can. And it'll work itself out. I mean, if you quit, you're definitely not going to make it as a stand-up. But if you go 10 times, and you can't ever get a laugh out of somebody, then you worked it out.
Right.
You don't have the what if game.
Right.
So it's, I went through a phase where I hated stand-up comedy. When I moved, I went to improv comedy, but I figured out how to blend the two. And like I said, now I'm more comfortable, so I'll kind of riff with people because I like doing improv better. Just
really
winging it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm not a good writer. That's why I was a C student. I figured out I could cram and pass a test and not have to do homework.
So. My life is like an episode of Seinfeld. Please back me up on this.
Yes.
Every single week I have a new, just crazier story than the week before.
I'll look at your Snapchat.
It is beyond insane. Okay, and every week I think to myself, that's the craziest shit that's ever happened. There will never be anything crazier than that happen. And the next week something crazier happens. So yesterday, I am driving down the 231 with Wyatt, and I'm going somewhere with this story. My son is 9. His name is Wyatt. And we're right there at Donato's Pizza, and they're working on that bridge, and they are building a huge retaining wall on either side of that bridge. He looks up, and he goes, he looks at me with this kind of frightful look on his face, and he goes, "Dad, Donald Trump started building the wall in Huntsville." And I said, "Yeah. Looks that way. Looks that way." And he thinks for a second, and he's looking out the window. He has this really thoughtful look on his face, and he goes, "I guess all the Hispanics will have to get here by plane now." but I bring that up. Let me turn it off. Here. Oh gosh. I bring that up.
Somebody's calling to tell us how good the show is.
Yeah, exactly. I bring that up because the thing that I would think would be the hardest if you're doing stand-up all the time is new material.
Oh, it's super hard.
And when you become like a Louis C.K. or you start having to live in kind of a little bit of a bubble, I guess, like these really big time guys, and I wonder how they come up with new material like that, because they're not doing, they're not able to go out in public. They're not able to do a lot, but I guess they're good enough that they can write and do it.
Well, once you also get that bubble, you can usually afford writers.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Have
you ever had, and you don't have to name any names because I don't want, the millions of people that are going to see this. I don't want anybody to think we're naming anybody, but anybody stolen a joke from you that you figured out later on that was mine?
No. There's the old saying in radio. It goes the same with my set. If you steal something from me, you're stealing it for the second time.
Right. Right. Yeah.
No, not that I know of. I know comics that have gotten jokes stolen from big name comics.
Yeah.
I won't drop names, but literally some of them just, if you see them at an open mic night in a big city, you better go. If I say it in front of them,
it's gone.
Say whoever, George Carlin.
Right.
It's not George Carlin, but if we have an example, if you look up and see George Carlin, and he goes, "I'm going to use your joke,"
right,
and then later I go, "Well, George Carlin's doing my joke,"
right,
people's going to go, "No, he's not. He's doing his joke."
Right.
There's no way you wrote a joke that George Carlin stole.
Exactly.
Second of all, I've literally seen big name comics go up after an amateur night and go, "I want to give you $100 for that joke about plums."
Right.
And if you go no, they go, "Well, okay." I mean, I'm using the joke.
Yeah. So
you can take $100 or not. So, but yeah, I mean, you get writers. I'm not saying all of them do that.
Right,
I'm just saying, yes, I've seen that. Thankfully, it's never happened to me. Or that might be, unfortunately, it means my set's not good enough to steal. But I do a lot of personal stories instead of set up punchline.
Right.
Like I said, I can't do that. I'm not good at that.
So I heard Joe Rogan on a year ago on an episode of his Joe Rogan Experience say that he felt like this was the golden age of comedy in terms of just how many beasts there are out there. It's just even guys that most people don't really know that well that are just incredible comics.
I do think after being in comedy that I could give you like 5 or 10 comics that if you said let's do a comedy show, if you could actually get people to watch them, they would smash.
And
you've
nobody
never
knows
heard
them. Yeah.
And they're road dogs. They work every weekend at some little tiny town in a little in some state, and they're going to travel, and they just every time I've ever worked with them or seen them, they just crush it, and you're like, why can that person get a break? Why can they not get a break? But that's in any business. I mean, you got to have the breaks go your way. You could be smashing it if you don't get in the right place, right time.
So I know you're doing a lot more corporate stuff now.
Yes.
And by the way, just so everybody knows, if you have a company, CIS Financial, I'm just thinking any insurance company or State Farm in Huntsville, and they're having a party or whatever, whoever it may be, and they want to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch with you? What do they do to get you to come and do your thing?
Cassio at RadioHuntsville.com.
Cassio at RadioHuntsville.com.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to give everybody value. So before we move on, and I do want you, because I love this story so much.
Oh gosh.
Tell the audience, because you're right, probably a lot of them haven't heard this, and I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. You got to tell the story on the day that you got found by the Jay Leno show. How that happened, because I was enthralled when I heard this story. This is a great story.
It's, again, right place, right time, and you had to take advantage of it. I lived in Los Angeles, and I took classes at the Groundling School of Improv, which was about 2 miles from my apartment, so I would walk to class every night. And one night I'm walking down Melrose Avenue, and there's a big crowd in my way. So I'm like, what's going on? They're like, Leno's filming a segment. So I was like, okay, cool. I need to get around this so I can get to class.
Did he have all denim on?
Not at that point. He had the suit.
Really? Okay.
Well, he's out in public. He goes to. I think he was in suit.
Okay.
But he now he'll wear some denim. I've seen him get out of the Porsche wearing a denim shirt and denim jeans, and I went, well, something's not matching up. And you're in a dad outfit in the Porsche.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
But they film segments without him sometimes.
Right.
So this guy goes, "Hey man, you want to get in our segment?" And I said, I'm walking to class.
Yeah.
I'm really going to be late. He's like, "Come on, it won't take long." And I said, "Well, is he here or are we just filming?"
Right.
Because if we're just filming, I'm out. He said, "No, he's here."
Wow.
And I said, "Well, I'm sure there's a list." And he goes, "If you're about to leave, I'll bump you up." I said, "What do I got to do?" And he said, "Dance." And I said, "Well, give
But
me the
why is
paper."
he paying so much attention to you if there's a whole crowd of people? Was it just...
I look funny.
Okay. You fit the profile. I got you.
I'm
Right
big,
place, right time.
Big, fat, had my hair gelled up like I like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess. I don't know. Maybe he had stopped other people and they didn't want to do it.
Right.
You never know.
Maybe
So-
it was Southern accent too. He thought that would be fun.
You never know. I mean, again, right? I don't know what happened, but the door opened and my chubby toe got stuck in it.
Gotcha.
I went up there, did the segment with him, which was they interviewed you, and at the end of the interview they would pause it and then ask the studio audience when they played it back
Right.
whether they thought this person was going to be a good dancer or a bad dancer.
Okay.
So they interviewed me. We had a fun interview. I told him I used to be on Rick and Bubba show, and he's like, "Oh, Alabama, Bubba, would never would have guessed," and the whole deal. So then, boom, it's time to dance. They play some Justin Timberlake. I'm down on the ground. I'm backing it up against the light pole. And then,
So you're showing some skills.
I mean, I got them, so it's easy to show
right,
them, right?
right. I understand.
So I'm bringing it.
Right.
I'm bringing it. And perfect timing, a cop car pulls up in the background of the shot, and Leno goes...
Just by accident.
Just by accident. I guess he stopped crowd control.
Right.
So he stops, and Leno goes, "They've come for you. Let's go." And like picks me up. It was a great ending.
Wow.
So then, they're like, it might not ever air. Might
Sure.
not ever air. And about
Under promise, over deliver.
6 months later, it took like a long time, and they've said, "Hey, your segment's finally going to air. We got it edited down. So just watch. Here's when it's going to be on."
So what did you do at that point? Were you just like still nervously thinking?
No, I mean at that point I'd already done everything. I just
Yeah.
called everybody I knew and said,
Right.
"I'm gonna be on TV."
Gotcha.
Woo! Look at me.
Gotcha.
And then the moment where it got real, I watched it. People were going, "You're the
Right.
man," fun stuff. Well, about 3 or 4 months later, after it aired, I got a call at my apartment in Los Angeles. The guy said, "Hey, this is Scott. I'm the casting director for The Tonight Show. And we got some feedback, a lot of feedback off your segment. We were wondering if you would like to do some more stuff." And I was just like, "Okay, who is this?"
Right. Yeah.
I thought it was one of my boys playing a trick
Right.
on me,
Right.
thinking I got the big head, I'm a TV star or whatever. I said, "No, not biting it." He goes, he started laughing. He goes, "I'll give you my number. Call back to the NBC studios and ask for me if that'll make it better." And I said, "It will make it better.
Right.
Give me your phone number." So I had to call, get patched through to the casting director. It was him. Brought me in for an interview and literally booked the next segment there. It was super weird. Super surreal.
That's crazy. So, like, do you think that you'll ever have the opportunity to maybe do something on something like Comedy Central, something like that? Because I would love to see you on like a special.
I doubt it. I don't think I work hard enough.
Is that what it
I mean,
takes?
I think you got to, like I said, there's, as far as the stand-up comedy craft,
Yeah.
there's so many people that are better than me. To me, I do stand-up comedy. I like doing it. I can do a good stand-up comedy show. It's a lot of improv.
Mhm.
I like doing the improv. I mean, when I moved back to Alabama, I basically got back into stand-up because I can't, there wasn't any, at the time, there's not sketch comedy troupes and, we're doing improv classes together. And, I mean, that scene has grown now because there's a lot more people, hey, I'm going to,
Right.
with the invention of social media,
Right. Yeah.
you can get your stuff out there now. So
Right.
people are doing that stuff. I mean, back then there was, it's nothing.
So my favorite guy that I would assume would be known kind of as an improv guy, Jeff Ross, who does
He's
the
great.
roasting stuff,
Yeah.
where he will literally just call people out of the audience. He's done it at a couple of prisons.
Yeah.
Where he's that is just amazing to me how he does that.
I don't know for a fact on him. I never worked with him. Don't know anybody that has. I know he is super hilarious. He's great at his craft.
Yeah.